Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today we're going to do a proper 1970s retro dessert. I'm going to show you how to make Black Forest Gateau. In fact, I'm going to show you one way to make a Black Forest Gateau because there are many. And this was requested by the legendary Brenda Rigdon. So, hope you like it, Bren. And yeah, this is the staple dinner party fodder in the 1970s. And it's, you know, it's wonderful. So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's do it. Okay, first thing we need to do is make the sponge for the cake. So I've got 170 grams of plain all-purpose flour, 170 grams of demerara sugar, 6 eggs, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, some vanilla extract, and because I think that Black Forest Gateau should be dark coloured sponge, you know, brown, almost black, and not off-white, 1 or 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So the method is a little bit complicated. It's very similar to what I did for the Baked Alaska recently. A lot of palaver, but you end up with a wonderful sponge, so it's worth doing. Actually, a bit of prep before I start the mixing. I've got my baking tins, that's springform, and this one's just got a loose bottom. So I think I'll get a nice deep sponge out of that, which I can slice into 2, and I'll get a single layer out of that, so I'll have 3 layers. And they are just under 19 centimetre internal diameter, that's about 7.5 inches. And yeah, they're both non-stick. However, I'm still going to grease them with butter because I'm like that. Right, we need to separate the eggs. So I want the egg yolks to finish up in this bowl and the egg whites to finish up in the stand mixer bowl. And I'm using a third bowl just in case we get any disasters. Which never actually happens. Okay, that worked. So 1 yolk in there, and 1 egg white in there. Okay, 6 egg yolks and sugar. So we just need to whisk these together till we get a nice smooth creamy mix, which will probably take about 3 minutes. So that's pretty much what we're after. Now you want to beat your or whisk your egg whites to stiff peaks. Okay. Hey, nothing ever goes wrong here. Okay, so oh yeah, those are very stiff and peaky. Right, next thing, get yet another bowl. I hate this about baking, you use so much stuff and it all has to be washed. So get your flour in there and you want your baking powder. I'm guessing you could use self-raising instead of normal and baking powder, but I've had this for about 10 years, so I want to finish it off and reclaim some space in my cupboard. And some cocoa powder. Ooh, that smells divine. Just stir that all together. Now at this point you want to get your oven preheating to 160 degrees Celsius if it's a fan oven, or 180 if it's conventional, and that's gas mark 4. And as we flour and baking powder and cocoa, stir in about half of that. And then fold in half the egg white. Try not to knock the air out of it. And that's looking pretty good. So add the rest of the flour and the cocoa mix and stir that in. And fold in the rest of the egg white. And I just stirred in some vanilla extract, although I'm not actually convinced that you really need it in this because of the cocoa, but anyway. Right, So we put 1/3 of this into the little tin and the rest of it into the big one. And they go in the oven for about 20 minutes and then we'll check how they're getting on. Okay, time's up, so let's get these babies out. Yeah. Actually, that one is a bit soft in the middle. I'm going to give it another 5-10 minutes. Okay, that feels firmer. So when it's cool enough to handle, take it out of the tin and leave it on a wire rack to cool down completely. There we go. Right, lovely. Now get on with the filling. So the ingredients for the filling and the topping as well, really. A load of things based around cherries. I've got actual cherries with their stalks attached to go on the top. I've got some black cherries in syrup. That's nominally a 400 gram can. There'll be about 250 grams of actual cherries in there. After I've removed the stones, there'll be less. And some black cherry jam. And also for the filling, 450 ml of double cream, heavy cream, and 50 grams of icing sugar, or you can use castor powdered sugar. And finally for the top, some Cadbury's Dairy Milk, milk chocolate, and some dark chocolate. Oh, and sorry, some booze, some cherry flavoured booze. Right, I'm going to drain the canned cherries of the syrup, but do keep the syrup because we need that. And then I'm just going to remove the pips. There's my cherries and there's my pips. So I'm going to tip away about half of this syrup and I'm going to add quite a lot of this cherry brandy, about that much. Okay, next step is a little bit tricky. We want to cut the top off to flatten it a little bit, and then cut this one in half. Now I'm adding some of the syrup and the liquor to the sponge for that to soak it up. So we're getting close to final assembly time, and I need to whip the cream and the sugar together, the icing sugar. Just whack the whisk in and off we go. We just want to whisk it till it goes thick. Okay, that's well, that's nice and thick. So I'll just add the sugar and whisk it a bit more until that's mixed in. Right then, assembly time. So get one layer of your cake and spread it with jam. Oh, there's big lumps of cherry in this already. That's interesting. And then add about half your cherries from the can. This is going to be pretty seriously fruity, I think. And now the cream. I don't know if I can get the cream to spread on there without wrecking it and getting cherries all over the place, but we'll try. Yeah, actually that's easy peasy. Alright, that's the first layer, so then we'll put the second layer on and do the same again. And then we pop the last bit of sponge on. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is monstrous. Right, so I'm going to stick this in the fridge. I haven't actually got a final idea of how I'm going to finish it because the edge looks a bit raggy. Although I've seen photos of BFGs that do look like that, but I want mine to look pretty. Right, you'll be pleased to know I've decided what to do to finish the cake. I'm gonna, well, first of all, I'm gonna straighten the sides because this is a bit weird, and I'm gonna coat the top and sides with chocolate ganache, dark chocolate. For this kind of ganache, you need about equal quantities of chocolate and cream. So I've got 250-300 ml of dark chocolate, 70% cocoa, and 300 ml of double cream, heavy cream, and also about 50 grams of butter. So I need to heat the cream so it'll be warm enough to melt the chocolate but not boil. And while the cream is heating, I'm just going to trim the edges of this strange shaped Gateau. And it's turned out like this because it turns out those two tins that I used, one of them is actually a little bit smaller than the other one. So yeah, never had a chance with that one really. Okay, the cream is hot, and also I melted the butter in with that, and now I'll pop in the chocolate and stir that down again until it's all melted as well. This usually takes 2 or 3 minutes, so don't panic if it doesn't melt immediately. Alright, the ganache is nearly ready, but chocolate's all melted. You just need to stir it to get the, you know, so there's no streaks of cream visible. And it's all a uniform colour. And set that aside to cool down for, well, till it's cool, then you can spread it. Right, now I'm going to melt some chocolate to dip the cherries into. So I've got about 80 grams of dark chocolate. So I'm saving 3 chunks and the rest of it are in this glass. I'm going to melt this in the microwave because it's a lot easier and quicker than doing the double boiler method, and works pretty well and gives you a nice tempered kind of chocolate. So you whack that in, give it 30 seconds, then take it out, give it a stir, give it another 20 seconds, stir it, 20 seconds, stir it, 20 seconds, stir it, until it's all melted. So there's our chocolate melted. Hot. And just throw in the extra bits and leave that, well, stir it now and again and they will melt as well, and then it's ready to use. Now, to coat the cherries in chocolate, you'll never guess what you do, so I'll tell you. You dip them in and then just pop them on a plate to cool down. Right, they're all done, so I'll pop them in the fridge to set, and there's a teensy bit of chocolate left over, no problem. So I'm going to add white chocolate to that and do the whole melty thing again to make the chocolate curls. So I'm using this much white chocolate for the chocolate curls. That's my favourite, Cadbury's Dairy Milk. You'll obviously use whatever you like, and just break that into the glass. And we're not going to save any bits for the end to do the tempering thing because there's really no point. Right, now you want a flat baking sheet, a nice thick one that doesn't buckle, and you get your melted chocolate in the hot glass and pour it out onto the baking sheet and spread it out as thinly as you can. And stick that in the fridge till it sets. Right, here's me Ganache, and I'm slightly worried because it seems a bit, well, it seems quite runny. It is runny, and really it shouldn't be. But anyway, we'll chuck it on and see what happens. Okay, so it's all covered, and actually it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but not the best either. So I think what I'll do is I'll put that in the fridge and let it set. Hopefully it'll set. And there's plenty more ganache there to give it another coat. Okay, so the monster cake has been in the fridge for, well, about an hour, and the ganache has actually set pretty well. Give it another coat, and the remaining ganache is really firm now, so I think we'll get a good result here. Hey, looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm quite impressed by that, but You know, sometimes you order things online and they come and you stick them in the cupboard and then you forget all about them. I've got these sort of, I don't know what you call them, but they're kind of like icing smoothers and shapers or something. So I'm just going to have a go with this, see if I can get a nice groovy pattern going on the top. And I think the answer to that is no, I can't. Let's try that again. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I've got a little bit of cream left over from earlier, so I'm going to pop that into a plastic bag because I'm fed up with that piping bag thing that I don't get on with. Might not be a great idea. It doesn't seem to have a normal corner. Now, let's, fingers crossed, just snip that off and squeeze that stuff out. Oh. Here we've got 2 holes. Okay, it's not the most brilliant bit of piping ever, but it doesn't matter. It's only a cake! Now we want to well, I was going to try and make chocolate curls, but that is actually set too cold, so I'll just leave it for a few minutes for it to warm up and we might have better luck. And 5 minutes later, look what happens. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, that's curling. That might be okay. But it is pretty soft now. No, that's not working. I'm going to put this back in the fridge for 2 minutes and then try it again. Right, let's try that again. I'm going to sort of cut it into strips first, because that might make them curl up more easily. And again, might not. You might have gathered it's a really hot and humid day. This is I think we'll abandon chocolate curls and we'll have whatever we get. Oh, there it starts curling. So we'll arrange those artistically around the middle. Okay, here's my interesting assortment of chocolate curls, and I like that. So I'm just gonna pop my cherries on. So here we go. I think that is one pretty amazing Black Forest Gateau, and I'm too tired to actually do a taste test tonight. So in the morning, mañana, this is my breakfast. Okay, good morning. It's breakfast time. And
what is this?
it's your breakfast.
Oh my lord. Hello.
It's kippers.
That is outrageous. God. That is spectacular. Good grief. Does it taste good? Looks amazing. Oh wow.
You can have some.
Yeah.
I'm scared, aren't you?
I'm busy looking. Oh, let's have one of these chocolate cherries. Oh, yeah.
Got a pip in it.
Yeah, I found it. Oh, right. You wouldn't think fresh cherries and chocolate would go well, because the cherries are not going to be sweet like the chocolate is, but you haven't gone mad on sweet chocolate, have you?
Yeah, but it's dark chocolate anyway. So.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not. They're complementary, I think.
What? It's my breakfast. Well, it's nearly 1 o'clock.
Oh, it's so pretty. Right, okay. I better try some, hadn't I? Oop, a little bit of cream.
And it's got fruit in it, so it's only a £5 a day.
That. Oh, wow. That is just wicked. Ooh.
There's more.
What's this stuff?
Cough medicine.
And you haven't got a cough, so it must be working.
Good stuff. Look at you, drinking at breakfast.
I was going to say. What a way to start the day. Cheers. And this is in that, yeah?
So,
Do you soak the cherries in it?
no, it's soaked into the sponge.
Oh, look at... Oh, there's actual cherries in the middle. I'm not a great cake eater. So,
Yes, you are.
no, but not... No, if we're out, I'll go for savouries most of the time. No, but I usually find shop-bought desserts too sweet.
This isn't. It's, what?
It's definitely decadent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely hard work, but...
Yeah. Oh, I can believe it. That is just gorgeous.
Worth it in the end.
How long did it take?
3 days. Right, okay, that's your lot.
Oh.
So, thank you for watching, and
Thank you for making him do this.
see you next time.